I don't want anybody to eat the stegosaurus that I've already molested. Dinosaur chicken nuggets, local metal, hot sauce, and Mark Irvin's ass. Welcome to the pit. Welcome back to the pit. I'm Travis from the band Endbringer and Snakeden Entertainment, and here joining me today is Corey Reed from the band Assault on Fifth. He's the front man, and whether you guys know it or not, in our little local Pennsylvania Clearfield music scene, these guys have been a solid staple since its rebirth about 3 years ago, and they've been tearing it up all over the place, and I'm super stoked that he's here to bullshit with me a little bit and to share some stories with you guys on what's going on with them, how he and I ran into each other, and what the future holds for Assault on Fifth. How we doing today, dude?
I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Exhausted. Long work week, and now we get to play a show, and then I go back to work tomorrow morning, and I'm just rolling.
Not to cut this dude off at all, but he is an extremely busy human being, working, like much of the rest of us, working a full-time job. These guys play shows. You guys are fresh off of a show up in Buffalo a couple weeks ago now. You want to give us a little bit of an insight on how that went?
A lot happened. A lot. So the drive up was actually pleasant. We drove up. It was Julian and I, and then Axel and Kenny. And the deal was we were going to crash with Pale Hell from up in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
One of the coolest bands I've met. Just down to earth. Their music in general is unique. It's like right up my alley. Like new metalcore-ish sort of stuff, but we were going to crash with them the night, hang out, party, do the whole thing, and we started playing up there, and the bar owners that we were playing at, I'm not going to name drop them because I doubt they'll watch it, but for the 2 months that we had it booked, we're like, yeah, it's cool, Axel's good to play, he's 18, whatever, it's cool. We get there after driving 3.5 hours, and they're like, he can't come in unless he's playing, and we're like, so he can't come in at all? And they're like, no. So we stood outside for 2-3 hours with him, loaded our stuff in, played our set, and then we had to leave.
Oh, dude, that's a bummer. But I will say this, that is what I run into whenever I'm booking gigs. Like, there's tons of opportunity for me to throw you guys on, but most of the places I book at are straight up bars. So it's a 21 and over thing, and like, Axel, age faster, would you?
Please.
But there are some under 21 shows that I have in the works. It's just finding the right spot where I can bring the right amount of people in.
Yep. It was weird, though, because, we got there, and we're like, hey, this is Axel. He's the young one in the band. They put X's on his hands, and they're like, okay. And then we came back in. They're like, he can't come in. We're like, he just X's his hands. And they're like, he still can't come in. It's like, then why'd you do that? That doesn't make any sense.
They were probably just trying to cover themselves for insurance reasons.
I can't blame them for that.
Yeah, it's tough because you travel all that way, you want to play, and I've actually seen things go the other way where I've seen a bar owner say, "Tell you what, since you traveled all this way, you buy one of our bar's shirts, and if anybody rolls in or you hear anybody say PLCB." You start wiping down tables.
Oh
you work here. You're not in a band. And I was like we were part of that cool show. I thought that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Cool. Dude, because it was something insane. Like, these people had traveled 6 hours to see their favorite band, and they were underage. It was such a downer. Keeping things rolling, man. We've known each other for quite a while, huh? Back in the early days of, you were in a band called Silence Our Perdition. I'm saying it right?
Yep. With Bront, Chad, and Cody.
Cody's now currently in Belvebeth, and Bront and Chad both joined the military. Hats off, guys. Mm-hmm. I remember the first time seeing you guys, and when Bront walked out with that goofy mask on.
And the tie.
Yeah. And keep in mind, this is at a music festival that they used to have every year called Rockin' for a Cure that was so much fun, and I got to see so many cool bands. It was a weekend festival. All the money went to Relay for Life in Jefferson County. So it was a really good cause. It was a really good time. But anyway, I see these young. You guys were late teens, early 20s back then.
I was like 19. Bron was
Yeah.
16. Chad was 18. Cody was the oldest one. But yeah,
We're talking young, and they have the mask and the tie, and I'm like, good Lord, what are we getting ourselves into? And they hit that first note and completely blew me away. And then my buddy Scurv, Mark Irvin, like this dude is playing bass. He is shredding, like head banging, like. And there's a pavilion where they have the show at, and Scurv decides that I'm pissing, but I ain't missing this band. So he pisses over the railing, like with his pants around his ankles, like a little kid.
Yep.
And Corey is full blown hair in the face, like getting down, and he's the most white Irish ass you ever wanted to see.
Just staring right back at
and
me.
his tough guy persona
Gone.
right out the window. Like, dude, I will never forget that. And that's like, it was so cool that we've kept in touch even after you've seen my friend's ass, because that most of the time would mean that people don't want to, like, I don't want to talk to that guy. However, there was another band that you guys were in. What was the lineup on that? Orion's Calling. How did that?
Chad was also in that. Cody was also in that. Dylan Long from Belvebeth, and we were cycling in and out of singers for 2 years with that one. There's numerous different singers.
Which, to really reel everything together, Cody, the drummer from Silence Our Perdition, went on to play drums in Belvebeth, as well as Dylan is a member of Belvebeth. They're part of the Clearfield music scene. Those guys have been playing Harrisburg and all over PA, so look, them dudes up there, a good bunch of guys. If you like the heavy, those dudes are right up your alley. With that being said, you not only did the Assault thing, but you and Chad Ham, formerly of SOP, like you guys have just recently done something that I really want to hear a little bit about it, because I checked it out the other day when Chad sent me the link, and if you like heavy, low-tune music, like this shit is going to be right up your alley. It's like a combination of metalcore and new metal smashed together, and Chad did the entire composition himself, if I'm not mistaken, correct? And then he just had you on to do vocals and do the lyric writing, of course, too. So give us a little bit on what the name of that project is and what the future holds for that. I did get a little bit from Chad today, because I was being sneaky, but I want you to tell everybody. I want to hear it in your words.
I've been kind of not left in the dark, but like it's a slow-moving project, and once everyone.
What's the title? What are you guys doing?
Crestfallen.
Okay, there we go. I'll put the link in the description for it. Check it out. It's on Spotify. It's a really cool tune.
It was just one of those things where Chad was just getting that music itch. He wanted to do something, and he was writing stuff. He was sending me stuff, and kind of keeping me in the loop. And I'm busy, so I'm only hearing little bits, as I can. And say like 3-4 weeks ago, he sent me like the full song, and he's like, I have this other guy doing vocals on it, and I'm like, okay, cool, like if you need artwork or whatever. That dude fell through, wasn't what he wanted, and he's like, can you write stuff? And I'm like, sure, when do you need it by? And he's like, ASAP. I'm like, okay. So he gave me like a basis to work off of, and I wrote from it and recorded it, and it's out already. Like, I was so fast that it happened.
Yeah, also another member of Belvebeth, Dakota. He did the mastering and the mixing on it. Yeah. That dude is a whiz with, I don't know what audio program he uses, but he's done work with Brace for Impact. He's done work with you guys. He's done all the Belvebeth stuff. Like, this guy's starting to make a little bit of a dent in the Clearfield scene with running the switches.
Absolutely. I don't know what other songs we have planned. I have nothing else written as it stands, but once we get, you probably know something more than I do.
Word on the street is eventually it's going to trickle into being a full-blown EP. Yeah. And he said it's a slow-going process because naturally he's in the military still, and he's got a little baby at home like a lot of us. We have families, we have jobs. Yeah. So you gotta weigh your time. You gotta set your time aside properly, and these dudes have been doing like I said, link in the description. Check it out. Like we're not gonna be able to talk about it to do it justice. So look it up.
Yeah.
with that being said, let's go back to Assault on 5th. Let's talk about where you guys are at right now. Now, you guys are getting ready to play Devil's Night today, which whenever this uploads, it will have already happened. You guys are on Upstage with us every year. You did the Buffalo show. I have a copy of the Vultures EP. It was a 4 or 5 song EP. That was the Vultures one, right?
Yep.
And if you can get a hold of a copy of that, or the tell me a little bit about the full length that ended up coming out after the Vultures EP.
So Cultivation was a weird one. We initially started writing it as an EP. Just did a couple songs off of it, and I just wanted to do a concept album. I had like short stories written from years prior, ghost experiences and stuff like that. And I know that's kind of cliche with concept albums, but I took it and just formed this crazy album of like a what if scenario with personal people, family and stuff. And Axel loved the idea, and we just took that evil, demented, I don't want to say satanic, but like just an evil sound to it from start to finish. And it's not like head bashing heavy the whole way through. There's a lot of like wavering, like almost Lamb of God-ish. There's like deathcore elements, there's new metal elements, there's almost like a Deftones vibe-ish towards the end.
So it's kind of like a little bit of everything you guys do in a live show. That essentially, everything you just listed is essentially an Assault on 5th stage show.
Yeah, pretty much.
And how much, like, I've seen you guys live at a ton of times, but I think the last time I've seen you guys was at Upstage. How much of the new record did I get to actually see firsthand on that?
Most of it. We only play maybe one song off the EP.
So now I can say that I can vouch that these songs are killer. Mm-hmm. See, the problem with not having the physical, like, I'm a nerd. I need to have that physical copy in my hand so I know the names of the songs, so I can like pick stuff out and be like, oh yeah, that's all. So, but yeah, these guys, if you get a chance to see them, their live show is killer. Yeah, definitely check these guys out. They are an amazing band live, and bringing everything full circle. What's up for the future with you guys? You guys got another record in the works. You guys like planning anything big?
This close to being done with another full length.
So we're talking fully written. It just
fully written. I have like 3.5 more songs to track. Everything still needs like mixed and mastered, but like that's the end stretch of everything. And then we're gonna do post-production stuff with samples and all that, fun stuff. And this one, it was weird because like when we wrote Cultivation, my work schedule and stuff was so shitty. Like I was in a dark place. I was staying up from 11 o'clock at night the whole way around to like 8 o'clock in the morning just writing this album nonstop. This time around, I didn't have that like negative side to kind of drive my lyrics and stuff, so it was a switch. But I used more like personal pain in the past that I haven't had a chance to write about.
And which would you say was the better color to paint with? Do you think that like having yourself in a mentally dark place was easier to write lyrically, or do you think like being in a good place and pulling from past experiences and like you said the concept album is like that's a killer idea to me. Like I just did a top 5 on the band Wars album Prisoners, and like that kind of stuff really catches my attention when there's a common thread or there's a story. Like from the time I was a little kid, I was a big Alice Cooper fan, so the whole stringing the show together and making
everything makes sense.
Like
it's like chapter 1 to chapter whatever.
But not before we get too far away. Like which would you say is the more preferable spot to write from, or which would you say you had a better result coming from?
I think they both have positives and negatives. I think writing out of a negative headspace is easier, but that's not something I recommend if you're in music because, you can have negative sides outside of that. Like, it's positive to write really dark lyrics and really impactful lyrics in a dark place, but everything else around that might not benefit, in your personal life. Definitely doesn't help. But I think in a good spot, I've had a chance to actually sit down and think about what I want to write about, which is also a good thing. I'm not just rushing anything or, like I look back at some of my lyrics, even on Cultivation, are a little cringy at times.
Uh,
I wouldn't say cringy.
I think that's anybody that's ever done anything artistic. Like as you develop not only as an artist, but as you get older and develop as a person.
Yeah,
you look back and
"Ugh."
everything is like awful.
Yeah, like I've grown a lot from that, just writing that album, and and this wasn't supposed to be a concept album, the new one we're working on, but it kind of turned into that in a weird way.
Like I said, there's nothing wrong with
that. Yeah, and it's straight just about like the different effects of mental illness, really. Like,
oh, dude,
and it's not just one specific type. It's throughout history, throughout people's personal lives and like relationships or work, and like we took a little bit from the Salem witch trials, like what families went through when their wives were burnt because they were a witch. Just stuff like that.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, like it's a real weird way to do it, and it's pretty cool.
But with us bringing up the whole growth, like I feel like from the time that I met you when you were like watching you grow as a musician and an artist has been absolutely insane. Like knowing the steps that I had to take to get to where I wanted to be as a musician and as an artist, like you and the group of guys, and this includes the Belvebeth guys and all of them dudes that started in that SOP circle, like. It's like leaps and bounds in comparison.
Yeah.
Now, would you attribute that to like the scene? I hate using the word scene, but like the guys in our local music deal. Would you agree with like the older dogs setting an example, or like how did you guys get to where you're at so fast? Because you guys like put that shit in fast forward and got from point A to point B. Way quicker than is there trailblazers? Was there like give me a little insight into how you guys progress so fast?
I think I don't know. There's a lot of factors into it. Like you guys, like Endbringer, Breaks for Impact, like Dave and all those dudes, they've been supportive, like the whole way through it. But like that early part, like SOP days, there wasn't really a scene at all.
Dude, it was so scattered. Like the only time you've seen people together was at like those weird festivals.
Yeah.
And honestly, everybody was in their little corner. Like no, there wasn't a whole. Well, except for me, because I had probably 3/4 of a snoot full, and everybody was my buddy because I was jammed up.
But like back then, we kind of just had to like book our own shows, and we just ran with it. And then as we made a reputation for ourselves as being local musicians, and then I don't even know when, like. I guess when AO5 kind of formed, everyone was like, okay, there's enough bands in the area. Let's just take it up a notch. And, Dave's been there like every step of the way, booking all these local shows. And, you guys like...
High tide raises all ships. Take care of your friends and their bands.
Absolutely.
We get hungry. But anyway, with that being said, Corey, it's been awesome shooting the shit with you.
Yep.
Before we hit the main event, I gotta give a shout out to Metalheads Against Animal Cruelty. Once again, there'll be a link in the description. These guys have sent Endbringer like banners and a couple of T-shirts and stickers, and we display them on our merch table. Like the work they do with trying to keep like these dudes don't just talk it. Ryan and his crew live it. Like he has a house full of all kinds of animals that he takes care of. He adopts. They have fundraisers, and like I think it's just amazing work that they're doing. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description. Check these dudes out. Really good people, and because of that, they're also huge metalheads. So anytime Endbringer does anything, they share stuff. Everything that we put up, they share of all the metal bands that they are in contact with, and hopefully that bleeds over into Assault on Fifth because. Cool. I got an extra banner that I'm more than willing to give to those guys. So, yeah. Well, with that being said, I want to thank you again, Corey. Check out Assault on Fifth. There will be more links in the description. And now we move to the main event.
Oh, boy.
All right, main event time. We got ourselves some Grey Walker hot sauce. It is Melodeath. It is made by Allegheny Farms. And it says that it is hot sauce infused with the spicy riffs of Grey Walker, and I'm a big Grey Walker fan, so I can attest to the fact that their riffs are very, very spicy. Now, the reason we're rolling with this is because the last time I interviewed a band, we did a beer sampling, and it went off great. It was the most fun I had in an interview. So Corey says he's down with some hot sauce. As you can clearly see, this is open. So I have been eating this. It has been wonderful. And what would you expect anything less from a metal band to dip their hot sauce in other than Dino Nuggets? This is the same Stegosaurus from the beginning. This is the one that I'm going to be eating because I don't expect anyone else to eat a dinosaur chicken nugget that I have already molested. So, we're going to bust this guy open. We're going to take a look at what the hot sauce looks like. No double dipping, by the way.
I was just going to dab mine on the nugget.
That's it. Now we got... It's got a pretty good like hot sauce color. That's the kind of color I would want in my hot sauce. And like I said, we got to have Corey try it first because I already know what my opinion is. Now we rate things in the pit on a scale of 1 to 5. He got himself a T-Rex.
A very narrow T-Rex.
Because he is a monster. They're T-Rex. They're T-Rex design. Tyson Nuggets. I get it. I get it that your chickens are raised without steroids, which is a good thing. But for real, man, you're pressing that stuff. Like, come on. All right, give her a shot and see what we got.
All right. I don't want to do too much, but
there we go.
Come on.
Put this hot sauce down.
Oh, that's good.
Molested Stegosaurus.
I didn't even grab a drink.
Oh, dude, I think the only thing I have out here is like beer. Sorry.
That's not bad though.
No, I think
that's really good. It's got enough kick that I'm like, okay, I feel it on my tongue, but like, it's not enough to make me want to cry.
Me personally, I bought it because shout out to Gray Walker. I'm a big fan, and when I saw them open for Trivium, they actually had a hot sauce. Yeah, that's really weird. They actually had a hot sauce for sale, and I was like, I need to have that just because like these dudes are my friends, so I need to try their hot sauce, and I didn't try it for the longest time. It was just like I have this, and then I ended up meeting the dude from Allegheny Farms that made it, and he was telling me that they had a write up in like Men's Health or Stuff or Maxim or one of those magazines that I don't know a whole lot about. But he said they got rated like a top 5 hot sauce, and I was like, cool. Unbelievable. So then I had to try it, and I put it. It's like Frank's Red Hot. I put it on everything.
That's really good.
Allegheny Farms and Gray Walker did an awesome job with the hot sauce. I will also leave a link to Gray Walker and Assault on Fifth in the description. So now we do the fun part.
Oh boy.
We rate the hot sauce, Corey. How you feeling about that? On a scale of 1 to 5.
1 to 5.
Allegheny Farms Melodeath infused with the spicy riffs of Gray Walker.
4.5.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And I'm going to have to double that up. Yep. A 4.5. It might not be the greatest hot sauce I've ever had,
but it's definitely not the worst.
It's dang close.
It's really, really good.
So bother Gray Walker, bother Allegheny Farms so they put that back in stock because it is an excellent hot sauce.
I'm going to bother them. I want that now. I'm not a hot sauce guy, but I like that.
That is so. In closing, Corey Reed from Assault on Fifth. Check those guys out. They play everywhere. The new record has been out for a while, and there's going to be an even newer record
next year.
Yes, sir. And I'm Travis from Snakeden Entertainment and the band Endbringer, and we'll see you later. Like I always say, don't take my word for it. Check it out for yourself.